When I got out of my coma, people would come and see me in the hospital. They go, so Stephen, did you see God? Did you see Jesus? Did you see Moses? Did you go to the Garden of Eden? And I'd look at them and I'd say, no, ask me a sensible question. Like what? What did you learn? And I know it sounds futile and silly, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I had this absolute conviction. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me all this time. That the essence of everything is really simple. It's not complicated. First of all, we just have to understand we're all supposed to love one another. So for me, he's so much more than that. Heroes are not just one-dimensional. They're multi-dimensional. I never felt like a survivor. I never even knew what the word was until 2010. So 2010, I was leaving UCLA, Ronald Reagan Hospital, having been in there for almost a year with brain cancer. And I saw a commercial on the television. And it was all these athletes who'd survived their respective cancers, and now they were survivors. And I thought, wow, am I now a survivor of that? Hat on, hat off.
Sit down and you can look at yourself and decide. Okay.
Hat on, hat off.
I mean, hat off, we really do see more of your face because it does shade your face a little bit. I mean, you know, but whatever you feel more comfortable.
No, I don't feel comfortable or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, you see you've taken your hair down now.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to leave it up though.
No.
All right, what are we talking about?
We're talking about football. English football, right?
Real football, you mean? Real
Not
football.
handball.
Are you, who's your team?
Arsenal.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
Chelsea.
Doesn't bother me. I've never watched football ever. And I think, you know, as we were saying earlier, like at every new decade of my life, I discover a new thing that's not a good idea for me to do anymore with my body. It is what it is. And now
Totally.
it's better for me to, you know,
Embrace it.
it's better for me to, you know, ride my bicycle or do a Pilates workout than it is to kick someone in the head.
Oh, I'd love to kick someone.
But I still could kick someone in the head if I had to. My name is Anouska De Georgiou, and welcome to the Empowered Exchange podcast. My guest today on the Empowered Exchange podcast is Steven Endelman, a Grammy-nominated composer, a movie producer, and a survivor of sexual abuse as a child. Hi, Steven.
Hi. Sorry, I'm not laughing at that.
We get to laugh because we lived it. So, you know, you're the only person who can laugh at that.
Am I the only one? Okay, good. Okay.
Well, you're the only person who can laugh about your own story.
That is true.
Right?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, Steven, and I'm really excited that we get to talk about all kinds of things today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I remember that we met at Cicconi's many years ago now, and you always had this really intriguing and captivating sense about you. And I was always sort of like, oh, there's something about him that's very profound. And you were clearly also very talented, but not showy. And I always really appreciated that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, and it was later that I discovered sort of, you know, some of the things, some of the accolades you had and some of the things that you'd accomplished. And it's always nice to discover someone's done great things rather than have them say they've done great things, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so too.
So I want to just understand a few of the things that you've worked on and share that with people. So what was the Grammy that you got nominated for?
A movie called The Lovely. It was about the life of Cole Porter and Linda Lee Porter, his wife. And it's basically a love story about a homosexual who fell in love with a woman, and together they built a life. And the backdrop, of course, is wonderful music and lyrics. And I got to work with some of the most talented performers the world has seen, from Alanis Morissette to Robbie Williams and everybody in between, Sheryl Crow.
Right.
I don't want to say my favorite, but the late, great Natalie Cole, who I will always remember very fondly in my heart. And the brilliant director-producer Owen Winkler, who I've worked for over many years. And it was a wonderful project which culminated in that,
Yeah.
nomination.
I mean, that's pretty special. That really is there are very few people who manage to get at that point in their careers where they get nominated who actually took the Grammy.
Well, that was a sore point.
Okay.
Because
We definitely
it wasn't
want
a
to hear
sore
it then.
point. No, it wasn't. You know what got the Grammy? And I think it was just, the Grammy went to, and of course now I can't remember his name. He's not a musician, he's an actor. And he made a movie. He was in a medical sitcom. What was his name?
Well, that really narrows it down.
I'm doing really well here. He dated Florence Pugh.
That's not helpful to me.
Oh my God! Come on, guys.
I don't know who dated Florence
No,
Pugh.
neither do I. What was his
Okay,
name?
so someone else.
Somebody else got
Yes,
it.
somebody else got it. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, that was it. But he wasn't
Yeah.
a musician. And anyway, yeah.
But you were a sort of a prodigy growing up, is my understanding, and you had this, and maybe that's hard to talk about, about yourself, but that has been said of you.
Yes, people have said that. It's all a lie.
Really?
I promise you, from absolute lie. I was a clarinet player. I was a clarinetist. I was this kid. My mother and father had split up. I was on my own with my mother.
Right.
I saw
This is in London.
This is in London, yeah. Northwest London. We were a very close little family, my mother, my sister and I, and my grandparents. I would go for walks with my grandmother as a 7-year-old kid in the local park. She'd be lecturing the little kids, take your cigarettes out of your mouth. You'll not grow if you smoke those anymore. She didn't actually speak like that. That's just like a joke. But there was a bandstand in the park, and I saw this police band rehearsing, and I said to my grandmother, I want to learn that. And I happened to be a clarinet, so she went out and got me a recorder. Practice on that first, we'll see how you do. And I guess I progressed enough on a recorder. Then they found a clarinet, and I started playing the clarinet, and I must have been quite good. So
Well, I
then
think that's probably an understatement.
I was quite good as a kid. And then I went to, I got a music scholarship to a boarding school, and I went there.
Okay. And which boarding school was that?
Called Carmel College.
Okay. Yeah. And that was where the abuse that you suffered took place, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I think you remember telling me you were 11 years old when that happened.
That is correct. That's when it started, yes.
And I'm so sorry to hear that happened to you. I know that we haven't lived exactly the same thing, but I think if you've had anything in that arena, you have a certain level of compassion and understanding for somebody else who might have been through something similar. So I'm very sorry that happened to you.
And now I know more about your story. Not much, because we haven't really delved into it. And you're the host of this podcast, not me. I feel like you're extremely brave. Probably much, much braver than I am. Because mine was 1,000 years ago, almost. And it really only got revisited, 2016 or 15?
2015, I think.
Is it
Red.
15?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And as a result, I feel like yours is there. Mine is there too. It never goes away. There's no. One thing I think we can both relate to is that I remember when the court case that I then was involved with in 2015, everybody said, you're going to go to London and you're going to do this thing and then you're going to get closure. And I say, I've never believed in the concept of closure. There's no such thing as closure. You move on in your life, you find ways of dealing with it, but it's always part of you. And we are only the sum of all the parts anyway, whatever they may be.
Absolutely. And I would say that I think you're very brave too.
Thank you.
And I don't think, it's always a human instinct to compare, but I think anybody who survives these kinds of abuses finds coping mechanisms, and I think that those of us who choose the path of recovery and choose to stay on this earth and continue to strive to be better, to do better, to have more compassion, more understanding, to connect with people again, to trust people again. All of those things make up a brave person.
I think that's true. And I think it's, there were so many things in that last sentence that you said that I want to go back into. I think, well, first of all, the word survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like a survivor. I never even knew what the word was until 2010. So 2010, I was leaving UCLA, Ronald Reagan Hospital, having been in there for almost a year with brain cancer. And I saw a commercial on the television. And it was all these athletes who'd survived their respective cancers, and now they were survivors. And I thought, wow, am I now a survivor of that? Now, to me, growing up as I did in London in the 60s and late 60s and 70s, survivors were Holocaust. They were all around me. You know, my family, my mother was very close friends with a group of Polish survivors who were known as the 49ers. There were 49 children who survived from one camp from Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen. Well, and so I knew about those survivors, but you couldn't surviving cancer. That doesn't seem like a survivor. And then of course abuse, and then you see now you have a new, and like you, learning to survive is really learning to strive and thrive, and also not allowing yourself to give up, because there's always residuals. There are always going to be residuals. Residuals from your childhood abuse, residuals from what happened before, residuals from your lineage. We don't even know half of it. But now I believe that it's all in our makeup. We carry so much in our DNA.
Yeah, truly.
And I mean, and so knowing a little bit about your story, Anouska, you know, being a survivor, I think also it always starts the same way. We're picked because people see a vulnerability in young people who've in some way may not even understand it, but in some way were abandoned. They may not even understood that at the time, but I definitely feel that predators have an ability to see that quality in somebody. They see that vulnerability, and that's when they start to groom, which is where it all starts.
100%. And that's very much been documented and studied, that predators do have a very particular selection process. And they target people. And some of that can be conscious, and some of that can be subconscious for the predator. But the work that I do with a lot of survivors is to identify what might make somebody more likely to be chosen, and then try and replace those traits with more healthy traits that will make them less likely to be chosen again. Because there's a lot of subconscious subliminal messaging that we're putting out, especially if you've already been abused. There's something that you can sort of exude that indicates, oh, I might be a suitable candidate once again.
But that might not be, as an adult, as we are, that may not be sexual abuse anymore. There are so many abusive people on every different level. And so in the workplace, people who employ you, who employ us, who are abusers.
And
we are vulnerable.
Absolutely. And I have experienced that also.
So have I.
You know, where and I think that I was more susceptible because of the first abuses that I suffered.
Of course, as a child.
Because it is something, it's almost, I think, like the concept of being hypnotized. When, you know, with that thing when they get people up on stage and they say, okay, we're going to condition you to this, and then we're going to say this word, and then everyone's going to go to sleep, or everyone's going to dance like a chicken. And I do feel as though something happens when you're first abused inside you, and it sort of is this signaling. And then when you get a certain cue, it triggers that default.
I think that's true. And so if I look back on my life, my career, I can see how it's not like I've been attracted to the abusers, but there is some kind of weird attraction, I guess, or I put out an energy that, you know, but they're also attractive people. They often are very compelling.
Charismatic,
compelling.
Absolutely. I saw this thing the other day, and you know, this is definitely biased on gender-wise, but it said every woman knows knows another woman who's been raped, but no men know any rapists. And that sort of did land with me because I have had that experience to some degree. Of course, there are exceptions to that, and many men I know are incredibly compassionate and acknowledge people, other men who are predators. But I did think there was something to that statement that definitely landed with me.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I'm wondering, since you said you didn't get closure from that experience, I'm wondering what you think you did get from that, if anything, and on the positive and the negative side.
I think, well, the positive was, well, it was a kind of half positive. I got to put him in prison, my abuser, if you could call that positive. But unfortunately, his time in prison was so short. He got 19 and a half years, but was out in 2.5 because of the system, right? Which is very, very bad, in my opinion. But I got to do that. I got to try. I didn't succeed because he walked into court every day and just had his head down and never looked up. I really wanted him to look at me. I really wanted to look at him in the eyes. And at least if I couldn't shout it or say it, at least I could think it when he was looking at me. But that didn't happen.
And what would you think or say?
Well, what I would say then and what I would say now are not the same thing.
Okay.
What I wanted to say then was, you know, you caused a lot of harm in my life. And probably some positive as well, because we don't know what we'd be in, you know, what would have changed. I don't know. Now, and I don't know how now, after the time has gone by, it's very complicated. I can't forgive what he did to me, okay? But I genuinely feel very sorry for him. I feel sorry for what he did to me and countless other boys. And in that way, I feel like in order to shed the shackles of one's abuse, you have to find some element of forgiveness to the person who has abused you. And so if I can say that I do not forgive your acts, but I feel sorry enough for you because you are a lonely, sad, maybe even dead now, old man who has nothing, who has nobody, and I have everything and I have everyone. So in that regard, I can feel like if I can feel better about it. It's not something that ever goes away, though. It's not something that I don't think about a lot and replay bits of it in my mind a lot, and it never will. And that's okay. Any more than I realized. I wrote about it yesterday, actually. So as a result of my cancer, I have I suffer from pain, and so pain on the right side of my body. There's nothing I can take for it, and I refuse to take anything anyway. So I just manage the pain mentally. I just deal with it, right? And I was thinking, yesterday was not a good day, pain-wise. It was a horrible day. And I was trying to figure out two things. Because I don't want to talk about it, because it's boring. I don't want people to know about it, because then I'm talking about it, and it's boring. And yet I see how my mood changes as the day progresses. Now, this has been going on for 15 years now. And I realized that, okay, I could have taken the policy of, fuck it. Excuse me, I don't know. I'm going to swear. I'm going to say, fuck it. I'm going to go there and lie down and just let the world pass me by. Or I can get up and carry on doing exactly what I'm doing and just try and manage it by surviving, by pushing forward and just battling on. So I choose battling on. And that's what I choose, battling on.
Yeah.
And I know it's very stoic.
Well, you are English.
Well, I was about to say.
We are English.
We are English. And it's very Churchillian.
Yeah.
I remember my mother came to the hospital and I think I was just, so she'd lost my stepfather who raised me. He died. I wasn't at the funeral because I was about to be admitted into hospital. I'd been asleep for 3 months. Excuse me, woke up. And then at some point she's sitting there. I think it was just before my transplant. And I said something to her like, gosh, how would it feel if you'd have lost your husband and your son all in the 3-month period? And she looked at me, and not coldly, it was something else. She said, well, I guess life would have just gone on, wouldn't it? I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They made them like that. They made
did.
them like that,
Yes,
especially
yes.
during the war. And having just been with my mother, who's just had a stroke and pneumonia and a stroke, they made them very, very strong.
Very strong, very stoic. I think also, we live in a time of luxury where we have the luxury to feel things, to stop, to have a lie down, and when we look at my parents, my grandparents' generation, that luxury was not available to them. And so I feel very fortunate. But now, because I have the opportunity, I think that I'm so lucky that I should take sometimes the opportunity to feel things, and even though it feels indulgent sometimes. And, I wanted to touch on a point that when you talked about forgiveness, I'm wondering, do you think you're gaining something by not forgiving him?
Gaining something by not forgiving him? I think probably not. I think if I was fully able to forgive him, I'd probably gain more. I'm on the kind of tightrope there. On one hand, I can forgive him because I feel sorry for him, right?
So what is forgiveness in this scenario? What does that look like?
Well, the problem with that is that you can't. How do you forgive somebody fully when what he did to you is implanted in your brain, in your DNA, in your seed? And the other thing is it revisits itself because you wonder, or I wonder, I'm not saying this is universal, but if you react to something, right, totally in a different scenario, you react to somebody says something to you and you take it personally when it's not meant personally. So you're reacting. Does that have anything to do with the abuser? Would you have been different if that hadn't happened? He stole from me my childhood. He stole that. He did. Yeah. No two ways about it. It's there, he stole it. Now, was it, and it went on for a while, quite a long time. He said things to me. He definitely affected me in a way that if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't have made certain choices. I may have chosen different things, different partners. I don't know any of it. None of us will ever know, and it doesn't matter. So what I like to think of, it doesn't actually matter now.
Okay.
What matters is carrying on. You just have to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I've sort of struggled with and examined my ability to forgive both Epstein and Maxwell. And the conclusion that I've sort of arrived at is because I've asked myself the question, you know, because I think for me, forgiveness is a decision. And so if I don't make the decision, I had to ask myself, what am I gaining by not making that decision? What am I holding on to? And so I got to this point where I decided I was really gaining nothing and also possibly losing an opportunity by not forgiving. And I don't think forgiveness is a black and white thing. I think it comes and goes. And everything to do with this type of abuse and to do with recovery in this area is very nuanced, and it's not a linear trajectory. So, but what I can say is my goal is forgiveness, and not for them, but for me.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at the notion, because obviously this is like, for anybody, for the viewers who are watching this, none of this has been prepared. This is two people sitting, actually learning about one another as well, and empathizing with one another. So I just want to make that clear, just in case, because first of all, your abuse is magnified because of it's so in the zeitgeist right now. It's everywhere. We can't avoid it. The people of the world know about it. No one knew about my abuse. They knew about it, but it was very contained, right? Small school, very select community, and so on and so forth. But yours is out there in the world in the most enormous way. And hence the bravery side of it, because it would have been really easy just to like, I don't want to be part of that, man. I don't want the camera on me. I don't want the public scrutiny. And actually, you've done an amazing job, because I didn't even know. So I think it's going to be hard. I think it would be very hard. I think it will be harder. I think it would be harder to forgive them. Also, I think what they did, the two of them, was, well, all abuse is reprehensible. That's something else. You touched on it earlier, and I'm sort of skitting a little bit. Not because I've got ADHD, but probably I have, but a little bit of it. But I just think there's a lot to unpack, isn't there?
There is.
And I think that if you start with the premise that all abuse is bad, full stop, we abuse one another human beings abuse one another in the most dreadful ways. We do. We take advantage of one another. We see people's weaknesses. We take advantage of them.
Some of them do.
Some people
Not everybody do.
Not everybody, no. Some people see that. And those two were particularly evil, I think. I don't know that. I feel like Trevor Bolton, who was the name of my abuser, when I look back on him now, I think sad, very, very sad. You're a sad, little, lonely, Brill-creamed, Old Spiced, tweed jacketed, black robed, lonely man. And that's what I think about him. I think you're two, I just think, I could swear much worse, but I'm not going to on your podcast.
It's okay.
But as I said the same about, you asked me what I thought when I saw him. I could think the same of these people. They should be punished. Well, one of them's dead and the other one's in prison, but maybe not enough. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is that I believe for all people who do harm to others, there are consequences.
There has to be.
I think there are consequences, whether those consequences come at the time of their death or whether they come before in the form of a prison sentence, in the form of a civil lawsuit, in the form of having the crap beaten out of them, whatever the or in the form of being lonely and isolated and sad and rejected by society when it all catches up with them. I think there are consequences. There are the kinds of consequences for people who perpetrate in this way that I prefer for them. But that doesn't mean that just because I don't see the consequence that they're not experiencing it. And when you talk about this man who perpetrated on you, I feel very angry with him. I feel very protective of you. And it's always been easier for me to be angry with someone else's perpetrator than it is for me with my own. And the experience that I had that allowed me to be angry for what was done to me was having so many women who had the exact same experience with the same people. And suddenly a light went on in me and I saw what I was so angry with what was done to them. And then I saw it was exactly the same as what had been done to me. And so I was able to awaken this compassion for myself that I'd previously never allowed myself, you know? And that was a powerful thing, you know?
Very powerful.
Yeah. I'm quite moved at this exchange.
I'm very moved. And I want to ask you a question, if it's okay.
Sure.
So, because we're just talking. So you were 16 when you met Glenn, right? And then she saw something in you that would allow her to introduce you to Epstein. No, Epstein, yeah. And that's when it started for you. How long did it go on for with them?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. So you were a child and then you were over 10 years. Was it constant or was it intermittent? How did that work?
Well, so that's an interesting question because what would constant be like? Would it be every hour? Would it be every day? Would it be every month? Because for me, the abuse is until the last time. So for me, the experience is constant because until such time as you escape that scenario and you know that it will never happen again because you are in a place in your life where you can feel confident you can ensure that, it is constant. But as far as actual instances, it would happen sporadically.
Right, now, and I get that. And for me, it happened until I was able to leave the junior school, if you like. So the school was divided into junior, senior, prep, and second senior. Different buildings, different campuses. So it was like a quarter of a mile walk. And once I crossed over to the bigger campus, he couldn't get to me anymore. And so it naturally stopped. He tried to. He would send me letters and he emotional blackmail stuff. But by that time I was done. And then I was taken away from the school. I was actually, luckily, somebody realized something was wrong and they got me out of that school, and that's when life changed. But it didn't end until I made that moment, until the physical side of it, him being able to come and get me during the night, and me then spending the nights with him and then going back to the dormitory afterwards. That ended. And it's painful, right?
Yes.
It's really painful, and you can't escape that. For me, the way I've escaped it is I've channeled it into, I believe now what I did was, and I didn't know this at the time, I think I channeled it into my music.
Yes. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I
You
do.
know.
And if, I was very fortunate, but not by choice. I was really fortunate, and I'm still very fortunate, is that I was able to get work in film, not intentionally. It was never my intention to be a film composer. My intention was I don't even know what my intention was. I was very kind of like, yes, I went to school. I went to Guildhall. I went to graduate school, and then I came back to London and taught high school for 4 years, 4.5 years, which I loved. I loved teaching. I still teach. But what happened, I wanted to be a serious composer. I wanted to write concert music. And I kind of was on that precipice, but then I was lucky because I got to move to New York, came to LA, and got to be part of something called the ASCAP Film Scorers Workshop. And then all of a sudden I was in New York, and that led to scoring films very quickly. But the thing was, I got to score movies mostly about characters that were flawed. And so all the music, and I still think to this day all the music actually, always has a lilt. And sometimes it's been described in certain ways. But there's always, like, I've never been, it's hard to hire me, I think, for a, happy-go-lucky. I'm not very happy-go-lucky in my character. I can appear that way. I can deport that way. But it's not really...
So what is the lilt to the tone of the
music?
Which is what?
Like, okay, one of my big conversations I have with both directors, film people, is about the concept of a hero, right? Heroes are flawed. You don't just pop out of your mother's womb or your whatever as a hero. You are by nature flawed. And if you look at the people that even today we think are heroes, they are flawed. Now, we're not talking about anti-heroes. That's a different breed of heroes. But your communal garden hero, Superman, flawed.
Yeah.
The music of all John Williams's themes, I think that's the most flawed theme because it's totally major and it's this big, bulky kind of superhero. But hold on, the superhero is abandoned by his parents, sent away in a spaceship, lands on a new planet, doesn't know where the bloody hell he is, has superpowers that he has to hide, is rejected by society, and then he appears as a hero. So for me, he's so much more than that. Heroes are not just one-dimensional; they're multi-dimensional.
I think the magical thing about music, the music that you've written, and music that you don't understand why as someone watching it, but it evokes an emotion in you. And sometimes not just one emotion. Sometimes if it's very cleverly done, if it's very well curated, it can evoke emotions that actually are conflicting within you.
Often and frequently.
And I think that many people who have suffered in some way, in some extraordinary way perhaps, develop this superpower to be able to connect, and it comes across as some kind of form of genius or being a prodigy. And for some people it's music, for some people it's drawing, for some people it's, I don't know, it comes in all forms, but I think it's a superpower. And so many, far more people that I've met who've had these great instances of success have come from, as you described, the hero. They've come from this flawed and broken story where they emerge, and you emerged as the hero, flawed, perhaps even broken, and you emerged with this drive to connect.
And that is a wave because it's been in and out. Right now, it's very much in. Right now, I feel very empowered, which is nice because I wasn't for a few years. But now I feel very empowered. And one of the things that I realize now, going back to music, so just before I fell into my coma in 2009, I was working on a television show. I just finished 2 movies. I was very busy. It was a very intense time. And I had my then beloved friend and music editor put together a playlist for me of 5 pieces of music that I loved. And I don't know why I had them put them in specific order, specific playlist. And when I woke up from my coma, I wanted to have that on my earbuds, and I didn't want it taken off. Now, between 2010 and 2025, science has evolved. And so now we know through functional MRIs, various other testing, that music can can regenerate neural pathways in the brain. I also believe, now that they know we have neural pathways in our hearts, I believe that that's the connection between the two, right? And so one of the things that I believe has helped me most in my life is that playlist of music, and music in general, for me, has definitely helped me recover, be strong, keep wanting to move forward, discover new things, new boundaries.
So it's interesting because, you know, I fell into addiction pretty much exactly at the time.
I know that.
And I'm a recovering addict of 22 years sober and clean. And it was a coping mechanism on many levels. It was a way of disassociating. It was a way of disconnecting. And I'm really grateful for that experience and that was available to me so that I didn't have to deal with it because it was too much. But the only thing that I had in my life that was not self-destructive in some way, that also felt so comforting, was music. And so I was a songer. I was a songer and a sing-wronger. I was a songwriter and singer. And I came to LA for that reason with Nile Rodgers. And so I came here to do that. And I spent some years here working in the music business and writing and performing. And it was one of those things that I gravitated towards. And now I still do music therapy with some of the people that I work with. And I do think it just has this magical, amazing ability to soothe and connect. And I think, you know, it's been said also that when you're in utero, in your mother's womb, and you hear her voice and you hear environmental noises, that's why that's soothing. You know, it's soothing to then try and recreate those sounds, especially when we're trying to heal traumas, because it's the sound, it replicates the sound of your mother's comforting voice. But I think when I think back, I think drugs and alcohol saved my life and music saved my life. And I can still have music, but I can't have the other things.
I was really lucky. I'm sure if I'd have been a rock and roller, if I hadn't gone to music school at such a young age, I would have definitely fallen into drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, no problem. Smoked heavily for a long time, but then gave up. I missed the drug thing altogether. I was like, I was a nerd. I wasn't nerdy, but I feel like, okay, I don't know why I missed that out, but I did miss it out. I don't want to miss it. I'd love to take drugs. I'd love to try some acid. Now I'm too scared, I think. Also, having had brain cancer isn't a good conducive idea to that.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, I decided that I wasn't an alcoholic. I think I'm going to give up alcohol. So I just stopped. Day after Christmas Eve, I think. The day after Christmas Eve, I stopped drinking alcohol. Never had another sip again. Not because I needed to, but because I wanted to give it up. I wanted to really just, I don't even know why. Now when I think about it, I mean, I kind of know why. I do know why.
I love that I'm going on this journey with you in real time.
Because I don't want to lie, you see.
Yeah. Please don't.
I don't want to lie. I don't want
Only
somebody
if it's
to
a
hear
really
it.
good lie.
I
Then,
know,
then
it's
okay,
not,
we'll
no.
go with it.
I'll tell you. I gave up because I realized that after the cancer and then all the other shit, it took a long time to recover from the cancer. Not the physical recovery. I mean, yes, you have brain cancer, right? They give you this chemotherapy. In my case, they gave something called high dosage methotrexate, which they'd come in to the hospital in big vats in hazmat uniforms. You know, that you don't see it on the TV. Not little bags like that.
Sure.
Like great big gallons of the stuff. They give you that. They put it into you through
A port.
a port that you have there. So I have my port. And then they have all other tubes all over you. You get that. Then they give a bone marrow transplant, which is very, very
painful.
tough.
Yeah.
Really painful, very tough. You go through all that, right? You're going to end up with a little bit of brain damage at the end of it. You don't get cured straight away. Well, I think, and so I got out of the hospital and I went straight back to work. Literally got on a plane. I was still with a walker because I'd atrophied.
But that's your MO, isn't it? Carry on, keep going, go back to work.
Yeah.
That's what we
That's
do.
That's what
right?
we do.
Yeah.
So I went back to work, failed dreadfully. All these, just like, because I was not of sound mind.
Sure.
And I honestly believe the comma, there was a comma, and then now I'm of sound mind. Now I went to see the doctors last week for the first time, my oncologist, who of course, I said, I haven't seen you for a few years. He said, I know why you're back. I said, because I felt it was important to just to see you and say thank you again. And also just tell you that I think I might be back to normal for the first time.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, probably you are. It takes a long time to get over what you went through. As miraculous as it is that you're still here. Because what had happened, I'll tell you what triggered that. I got back from London and I went out for lunch. I went to Hillcrest. I had lunch with Irwin Winkler, Charles, his son, and Rob Cowan. So those were all people in my life for a long time. And Irwin, the first thing out of Irwin's mouth, Irwin is unbelievable. He's 94. He's one of the great producers alive, kicking, playing golf, making movies, doing TV. Now Creed's going to be a TV show. So between Rocky's 50th year, Creed, the stuff he's been doing with Scorsese and other people, amazing guy. The first thing out of his mouth, he goes, Steven, what year was it that the three of us sat round your hospital bed with the doctors telling us, say goodbye now, he's going to be dead in 2 years? I said, Owen, we can't start that. We can't start there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, and that triggered all that stuff,
right. Yeah.
But I'm very, very happy that now for the first time, well, not the first time, but in recent time, very recent, I feel like I can honestly say that I'm kind of back to normal. I mean, I've not
the new
stopped
normal.
working. The new normal, that's another thing, the new normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you look forward to now?
In terms of what?
Career, personal?
Career, I look forward to doing exactly what I've been doing before, writing scores. I just started one this morning. People I like, might start another one very soon, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
And so writing music, I really look forward to making this movie with my old collaborator, Raymond D. Felita, in the career-wise, writing music, just writing music, living. I love writing music.
And then personally?
Peace, a little bit of peace, personally. My kids are 2 out of 3 are grown up. They have chosen their own paths, which I'm very grateful for. They're fiercely independent, to the point of like, were you even my kids? None of them have, well, one of them, the youngest, my daughter, I look forward to her going to university in England. That's really exciting. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
And doing musical theatre, which is, of course, very exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my 2 boys, well, they're not crazy. My middle son's bonkers, but bonkers in a good way.
Yeah.
Jumping out of airplanes for a living in Alaska. And he's as happy as Larry. And my other son is, doing great.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. And for me, I look forward to peace.
Yes.
I just want peace.
Yes.
I want peace in my life. I want peace from everybody I know. I want peace in the world.
Yeah.
I want us to learn something. And this may sound a bit like, I don't know what it's going to sound like. And of course you can cut it out. When I got out of my coma, people would come and see me in the hospital. They go, so Stephen, did you see God? Did you see Jesus? Did you see Moses? Did you go to the Garden of Eden? And I'd look at them and I'd say, no, ask me a sensible question. Like what? What did you learn? And I know it sounds futile and silly, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I had this absolute conviction. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me all this time. That the essence of everything is really simple. It's not complicated. First of all, we just have to understand we're all supposed to love one another. That's it. We're supposed to love one another and respect one another. It doesn't matter what color, creed, religion, it's all baloney. It's meaningless. It's nonsense. We're just supposed to love one another.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I started thinking about a lot was that, and I would make jokes, I'd go up my friend, I'd say, I tell you what, put the kettle on, I'll see you on the other side.
Right.
Mine's Earl Grey, what's yours?
Yeah.
That somehow we are all connected, and the connections that we make in this lifetime, as fleeting and as small, we somehow reconnect in the next one.
I believe that.
And I believe that so strongly, and I think that's why there's something to be said. So like when I got out of the hospital, I literally would be anywhere and everywhere. Didn't matter if I was at a bar in San Diego or I was in London. I'd be sitting talking to somebody, and either they just had cancer or they'd been abused, and I could see it. I can feel it.
I totally believe you.
I completely know.
Do you know, I can tell when people
million
have
miles away.
been, I can tell when people have suffered abuse.
Always.
When they're strangers.
Yes.
And I don't mean if I'm even sitting in a restaurant.
No.
I mean when they walk past me in the
You
street.
can feel it.
But
There's
the
an
truth
energy.
is, I believe everybody has that capacity. I think that because we've been through certain things, and maybe yours is your near-death experience, and also the abuse that you've suffered, there's something that switches that part on that I think everybody has. And you're right. I think that is such an incredibly powerful thing to say. We are meant to love each other.
Yeah, and it
no
should-
matter what.
No matter what.
Yes.
And it should be simple.
Yeah.
But it seems so hard for us.
Well,
it just seems so hard.
But, I think that's where we start. We have to start with ourselves. People should love each other. I should love people. And if I start with me and everybody does that, then that's the answer. It must be. And love is the answer.
So there goes, I'm going to go full circle here.
Okay.
Okay. Because a
Quick full circle.
Yeah, okay. You're wrapping me up now. Right, good.
Well,
my
you said
time
the
is
good
gone.
bit.
Here's
You
the
said
good
it's
bit.
all about love, right?
I said that.
Yeah.
And you then said something. And you'll have the last word, right? But how long, one of the things trauma therapists have talk about is that in order to forgive your abuser, you have to forgive yourself, right? That's a journey. That is a journey, because intellectually you can go, I was 10, 11 when he started to abuse me. He was a man in authority. I was just a school kid. But hold on, Stephen. Now Stephen's talking to Stephen. But you liked the attention, didn't you? You liked that he invited you up to top table to sit with him and the other staff. You liked that he called you out in class and he made a fuss of you. You liked
But
that
it
you got
doesn't
invited.
matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, no. But you know how hard that is,
I
doesn't
do.
it? It's fucking hard.
And what I will say is, I agree with you that forgiveness of yourself particularly is a journey. But I also believe that that forgiveness begins with the decision to forgive yourself.
Of course.
So I'm really grateful that we had this chance. You know, I'm really grateful that you were so honest, so vulnerable, so willing to process things in real time and not prepare anything. And I really wish for you the peace that you asked for, you know, and that you seem to want. And I wish that for everybody, but particularly now in this moment for you. So thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Anouska. That was very beautiful.